All right, Rabbi, say good morning. Let us begin. We are going to pick up this morning an Os Mem Aleph in Tzidkas Hatzaddik. Although we didn't finish Os Mem, the Rebbe goes on to explain a bit more in greater depth his primary idea, namely that even Averos have a Yedias Hashem. That of course the Ribbon Shalom knows about the Averos I'm going to commit, and to a certain degree, not to a certain degree, of course the Ribbon Shalom allows them to occur. So how could it be that if HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows about my Averos, He allows them to occur? Doesn't that mean that some way, somehow, He is okay with my Averos? So remember again, of course, Ribbon Shalom is not okay with my Averos. HaKadosh Baruch Hu would much prefer that I not commit Averos. But of course, as Reb Hatzaddik explained, the Ribbon Shalom also understands that sometimes our greatest source of growth is not from our accomplishments, but our greatest sense of growth often is from our failures, from our downfalls, from our averos. And that's why, again, the Rebbe said that it's zidonos na'asis lo kizchuyos. This idea that if a person does tshuva, that a person could transform his averos even into merits. That if ultimately, again, my downfall becomes the greatest catalyst for my personalistic growth, then by definition, even the averos, even the downfalls, even the pitfalls, somehow become something positive. So with that, let's begin Os Mem Aleph. So if you look in the introduction that he has over here in the Be'urei Chasidus on page Tzaddikim, I just sent it out in the chat just a few moments ago. So the Rebbe writes as follows, or I should say the Be'urei Chasidus writes as follows: Le'el hisba'er she'ish la'adam efsharos aydei koach hatfila Lafoch es sharsho hara be'ofen shal brias yesh me'ayin b'nafsho. So we'll say a little while ago in Os Lamites, the Rebbe spoke about the incredible power of tefillah, and that tefillah has the ability to go ahead and transform one's sharsho ra. Now sharsho hara, shoresh is literally one's root, one's essence. That even if a person, unfortunately, is experiencing some internal ra, some internal negativity, tefillah has the ability to transform that shoresh hara, that negative root, ba'ofen shel brias yesh me'ayin b'nafsho, and can totally create something dramatically new inside of someone. Now, let's analyze this just a moment. So remember, yesh me'ayin is a unique term that we find, again, used in the context of Bereshis, Parshas Bereshis, speaking about the concept of creation of something from nothing. This, of course, is a concept which seemingly defies comprehension, because at the end of the day, am I not on? Oh, no, mute, I'm sorry. I'll say sorry. See, the one day I ask, Chevra on Zoom, does everyone hear me? Right, I don't ask it. Is the one day, of course, that it's muted the whole time. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so we're just talking about by introduction in Os Mem Aleph. In Os Mem Aleph, Jeremy, it's a good musar. You see, like when you get into a habit of something, the moment, right, that the habit is broken, you change the regulars for just a moment, and everything falls apart. So thank you. I should have checked the mute. Thank you. So we'll say, so again, so what we have over here in the beginning of Os Mem Aleph in the Rebbe in Tzidkas Hatzaddik is this notion that tefillah has the ability to go ahead. Tefillah has the ability to go ahead and transform the individual. So even if our person has what he calls this shoresh hara, but we'll see what that means as we get into this. Person has something negative, something is rotted inside of me. Tefillah has the ability to transform that in a dynamic way. Okay, and by the way, his idea of the ability to transform it, even yesh me'ayin, means sometimes Rabbi say, a person could go ahead and compromise themselves to such a great ability where it feels like there's nothing positive inside of me. There's just nothing positive. So even if a person, now of course that's never really true, because even if a person feels that they've totally compromised their identity in totality, there's always good inside of me. But even if a person feels that mamish, the shoresh, the essence of me has become ra, tefillah has the ability to transform a person yesh me'ayin, from literally, again, to turn something, even to create something from nothing. He goes on, he says, Kan isbar she'efshar la'adam lahagia lakach Gam al yidei koach mitzvahs ha'emuna elokis. In this particular Seif, Reb Tzaddik is going to explain that a person could accomplish the same dynamic through the mitzvah of emunah. That Abba is saying, you say to yourself, what's the mitzvah of emunah? So this is actually very interesting. There is a fascinating machlokes hamafarshim regarding the first of the 10 commandments, where HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I am Hashem your God. So what's the mitzvah? Right? In fact, if you look at the first dibra, if you look at the first commandment, it really just seems like a declarative statement. Anochi Hashem Elokecha, Asher Otzesicha me'eretz Mitzrayim. Okay, I am Hashem your God who took you out of Egypt. It's a statement. We're supposed to contrast that with the other 9 commandments, right? The other 9 commandments are mitzvahs. So what's the mitzvah in commandment number 1? So what many of the Mefarshim, Reb Tzaddik is going to understand as well, is it is the mitzvah of emunah. Dibra number 1, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, is the mitzvah to believe in the Ribono Shel Olam. So Reb Tzaddik is going to posit that the same way that tefillah has the ability to affect a personalistic transformation, that even if the shoresh is ra, even if I feel like I've compromised myself to such a degree that my essence is rotted, my essence is ra, but yet tefillah has the ability to affect change, the mitzvah of emunah has the ability to affect change as well. The Rebbe said this is going to be incredible, that just by believing in the Ribono Shel Olam, just by reaffirming my belief, my faith in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that is the ability to transform a shoresh ra into something positive. Ubehemshech, lemashen is bar ba'os hakodemes shadibur shalo yeh kol al kol alavim shabatorah yizbar kan lefizat tam shadibur. We're supposed to, here we go. Shadibur anochi Hashem Elokecha kodem lelo yeh lecha Elohim acherim. We're supposed to remember again, first of the 10 commandments. Anochi Hashem Elokecha, which we're understanding to mean the mitzvah of emunah. So the mitzvah of emunah, to believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, comes before lo yeh lecha Elohim acherim. Second of the 10 commandments, do not worship other gods. So look what the Rebbe does, and this is really quite amazing. Ki al yidei his boninos. I'm still reading in the Be'urei Chasidus, page Tzaddik Gimel, left hand column. He goes on, he says, Ki al yidei his boninos hagimura, ba'anochi Hashem Elokecha, dahainu mitzad, so if a person goes ahead and fulfills the mitzvah, which is the mitzvah to believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then I will say, now what does it mean? First of all, what does this mean to believe in the Ribono Shel Olam? How does that mitzvah manifest itself? In other words, how do you fulfill the mitzvah of belief? So he says, number 1, Dahainu mitzad, Mashetusag li adam ha'emunah haberura b'Hashem shehu matzui sheyesh Eloka mechuyev hametzius b'chol makom mamish. So I will say, so Reb Tzaddik understands this mitzvah of emunah in a number of different ways, and I will say this is really quite interesting. Number 1, that sheyesh Eloka mechuyev hametzius. There is a God who drives creation. There is a God who drives creation. And without this God, there would be no creation. I will say, if you look in footnote Shin Samich Hey, it's on the in the right hand column of the Mekoros Vitziyunim. He quotes the Rambam in Mor Nevuchim, and the Rambam writes Mor Nevuchim Amna Mishein Siba LeMetzius for Hashem Yis'alav Yisraelim Levado Kizeu Inyan Amanu Alav Yisparach Shu Mechuyev HaMetzius. I will say, this idea that the Ribono Shel Olam is the Mechuyev HaMetzius. The Ribono Shel Olam is the Mechayev. He is the one who creates creation. Without God, there is no creation. That's Aleph, right? The Ribono Shel Olam is the creation driver. And without HaKadosh Baruch Hu, there is no Bria, there is no creation. Number 2, B'chol Makom Mamish. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu is everywhere. He is everywhere. V'mamtzi Kol nimsa, he creates everything. And the creation and continued existence of everything is a direct result of the Ribono Shel Olam's existence. So we'll say, so this is emunah. Now, of course, you could see, if you want for further reading, you could see in the footnotes, these individual concepts are developed, each of them on their own, which I will say is very much in line with the Rambam's thinking as well. But the ultimate essence of Emunah is to believe in a Ribono Shel Olam, who is the prime cause for all other creation. That's number one. Without whom nothing else could exist. Two, and number three, he is everywhere. He is everywhere. That is the essence of Emunah. Now watch this. He says, if a person believes in this, and I will say that is the mitzvah of Anochi Hashem Elokecha. The mitzvah of Anochi Hashem Elokecha is the mitzvah to have Emunah. So we'll say, again, so how does one fulfill this mitzvah? So on one level, it's cognition. It's cognition. I think about these things. I actively believe in these concepts. Of course, a way, according to many, that the mitzvah of Emunah manifests itself is through the performance of mitzvos. That when I serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'm serving God because I believe in these things. If I didn't believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I would not be doing all of these various things. So L'maisa, again, is the mitzvah of Emunah. So Hatzaddik says, if you have Emunah, hu nitzol me'la'avor al hadibor, shelo yeh lecha Elohim acherim. So we'll have to stop with this. We'll pick up with this concept tomorrow. But Hatzaddik says something amazing. The order here is, of course, exceptionally important. And then at the end of the day, why is Anochi Hashem Elokecha the first mitzvah? I will say, because if I have Emunah, then I am saved from Lo Yeh Lecha Elohim Acherim. What's Lo Yeh Elohim Acherim? So we'll say, so Bepashtos, that is the Isser of Avodah Zarah. I'm not allowed to worship idolatry. But I will say, of course, if we globalize this, Lo Yeh Lecha Elohim Acherim also means what? Do not make other things your God in life. How easy is it to worship other things? By the way, I could pledge my, we'll call it, not intellectual, but theological allegiance to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but I could be worshiping a lot of other stuff in life. Right? People have all kinds of gods, even though, again, they only believe in one HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They have gods of money, gods of materialism, gods of career, many different gods that exist. So Tzaddik says something amazing. The order here is specific. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, if you believe in me, if you live a life of Anochi Hashem Elokecha, real emunah, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the reason for everything. Nothing could exist without HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and He is everywhere, which I will say, those concepts fuel everything else, then you will be saved from Lo Yeh Elecha Elohim Acherim. If you truly have emunah, then true emunah saves you from worshiping the false gods in life. All right, we'll have to stop over here for today. We'll pick up Emir Hashem with this concept. Emir Hashem a bit more tomorrow. Shkach,